open. And continue from the contemplation we just did, just relaxing into it while everyone else connects. Avatar. I'm going to ask you if the thumb, the index of one, well, with the point of the thumb, but your entire hand, going to massage this area, the base of your thumb, with the other thumb. You don't have to destroy everything. You just massage it. Okay? Just massage it. If you switch hands with your other thumb, the base, here, the muscle, the moon of the hand. Avatar. All right. You pull, you pull. Good. We have, well, we can go back in our mind and just think. You can follow with feelings, but this one is just going to be a soft talk about the topic. We've conceived so much ideas of what is an avatar. Those who learned about it, those who learned the word. An avatar is someone with all supernatural abilities. No, it's not the case. An avatar is someone who is a god incarnate. It's a very misleading way to say it. Every supernatural ability that you want, you have to train for, regardless who you are or what level of consciousness you have. And someone who has felt the divine nature of all things will feel as God himself if such a person felt God in everything, everything includes himself. That would lead us to believe such a person is God incarnate. But it's misleading. It is rather someone who knows himself as God because he knows everything as God. So it's not exclusive to itself. Let's do a small practice now, okay? Think about everyone. Just think about every human being, specifically humans, okay? Think about every human being. Now, look at the mechanics of your ego. Are you included in that? No. As a reflex, you were not thinking about all, including you. You were thinking about all other humans than me. It's a reflex of the ego, super fast. If you want to think about every human, including you, think about it, every human. Look at the subtle mind. You're thinking about two things. You're thinking about every other human, and you're thinking about you. Just think about every human. And your ego does two things. There's me, and there's the others. Or in this case, there's everyone else, and then there's me. That's how egocentric we are. It's very subtle and very quick in the back of your mind. So maybe some of you did not get it. But if you try it, you'll eventually see the individual, the identity of the ego. If you want to think about everyone, just think about everyone. And don't have this extra thinking about you, just everyone. Your ego's in conflict about being there. Okay? So when we speak of the word avatar, someone who knows everything as God, that everything includes itself or himself. Everything in one, not separated. Just the idea, think about absolutely everything in the universe, and you'll realize something inside you is not including you. It's thinking about everything else in the universe. And you have to make an effort to be included. So it's a second thinking. It's two things. This duality is rich, it's present, it's very subtle. But if you're quick in your mind, if you're wise enough to see it in the back, we always exclude ourselves from a whole, from a group of people. So we fight to be part of a group, but we constantly think about your group of friends. You won't be in there, it's going to be your group of friends. Think about everyone that you know. You're going to think about everyone else. What? You don't know you? We exclude ourselves. So the avatar still is human, so has this point of view. This is what I am, this is what I am not. So this is here, and everything else is the experience of there. But this separation holds no power. So when you have a moment of realization of God, you experience everything as God, and of course, that is you. Oneness helps because you felt yourself as the others also. But while you felt oneness and felt yourself as the others, you were feeling them from here and from there, of course, but also from here. Okay? So when you live it, you'll understand. And before you live it, it's just a paradoxical complication that you can't really understand. So the oneness and the feeling of the divine nature, if you have forgiven nature as it is and accept this is what nature is, this is how the world is, that acceptance of the universe makes it so accessible that eventually you can feel the divine nature of all things. And that will be you too. So it is accurate to say, if you know everything as God, as in the divine nature, then that includes you. And that's not arrogant to pretend that you also know yourself as God if you know everything. But then it was expressed as I am Vishnu. So someone, any entity who is permanently conscious of the divine nature of himself is Vishnu. And then a new ager or an immature enlightened master will try to fake that feeling by just thinking, I know myself as God. I know myself as God. And everything is about I know myself and about about my identity, my ego. It is so personal, so limited. I know me and just me as God, that you're going to do it the arrogant way. Just pretend I am an avatar. But actually, that is impossible. It cannot be about you. The immature masters, they're starting to get glimpses of the divine nature of things, and I feel divine, and no one else around them did. So they will feel they have something superior that the others didn't get. Of course, this is how it starts, and it's a good thing. Don't judge that. It's a good thing. But look at the trap. Your ego will always use whatever realization you've made to try to define itself, still from the point of separation and duality. And that is acceptable. It's how humans are, it's how every object in Vishnu is. We are separated, we have duality, of course. Forgive that, accept it. Duality and separation, this is how nature is. Accept it. In your quest for the experience of an avatar, don't proclaim yourself to be an avatar until you are Vishnu always. Let's say 95% of your time. Okay? Big moments of drama can softly shake you, pull you out a few minutes, and you're back into your certainty about personal growth, your faith in the process, and you stay in the flow of everything. But without an intense drama, even a little drama would not even pull you out. And then you don't know yourself as God. You know, through experience, you feel the divine nature in all things. It's not explosive and blissful all the time. It's only the first times that, wow, this is so much new information that it is blissful and so revealing, of course, and it should be. And even sometimes when I have an expansion moment, I would feel the joy or the bliss of revelation. It still happens. When you go into a warm bath, it is felt as warm very quickly. And after a while, you're now comfortable and it doesn't feel as warm, but you are comfortable. If someone else would test the temperature of the water, it did not become cold so fast. It is still warm, but you got used to it. Okay? So you get used to the feeling of divinity. And still, duality in science subtly tries to keep it exclusive to you. I'm the one who experiences that divinity, so it's not you. And then, kind of betray yourself, but that's okay. That's where we keep evolving. This is the continued path to evolution as you discover what does it mean to be an avatar. It will take time, and you can't fake it. I can read a nice comment. I'm Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, and I accept it. It's very good. It is good to do that and to feel it. I accept it. This is very nice. This is where honesty with ourselves is so important. We have to admit we still react to events outside. We must not use this faith and this grace that we have of feeling divine in order to say, I feel God now, so nothing else matters and nothing affects me and I don't care, because this is the bullshit. This is where we lie to ourselves. As long as we are incarnate here, mechanics and dynamics, they affect us. And we are affected. I consider myself a competent teacher, and I teach from experience. So I do live that experience. And while I was hiding in my white ivory tower, feeling divine, pretending nothing mattered, I was setting for myself a great fall, a trap. It takes humility even more when you have so much grace of God inside you, feeling all the time, and you can feel the others. It's not even duality. Others are divine and everything's fine. To still be humble enough to admit that just affected me. This just affected me. Oh, I feel lonely now. Oh, I feel bad now. Takes humility. Takes a special kind of refinement. It's cool to say, I'm Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva and accept it. But that's not what an avatar would ever express live in a class. An avatar would feel grateful that everyone is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva and not localize it on him. That's the point of this class. How much subtly you bring the divine feeling to only you is the trap. Because we're so happy we are feeling it only as us, and this is good. This is so wonderful. I feel Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. I feel God. I feel the divine nature, the convection and streams of consciousness. I feel that. And it's still on. I feel that. The avatar experiences as everything and everyone is that. And there's no need for locality. Krishna taught this to his disciple Arjuna. Arjuna said, "Oh, Krishna, you who are Vishnu, please show me what everything is. Show me what you are." So Vishnu say, "I'm going to touch your third eye. And as long as you're in reaction, I'm going to go away." So Vishnu touched Arjuna in his third eye for a good period of time, did good Shaktipat. And Arjuna started to have visions in the evening and in meditation and time. And he saw so many aspects of Krishna and Vishnu in the universe, and eventually he saw himself. And he felt himself, little Arjuna, as Krishna, as Vishnu. And he went into so much guilt. Oh my God, my Lord. And then Krishna did not go to him for 2 years. For 2 years, Arjuna felt, I was so arrogant to imagine myself as Krishna himself, so pretentious to be as great as Vishnu myself, that my masters rejected me because of the mistake I have done. But Krishna had promised Arjuna, as long as you don't accept the lesson, I will not give you another one. And that is why Krishna just avoided Arjuna for 2 years. So at one point, after 2 years, Krishna goes to Arjuna. And Arjuna says, oh, Krishna, I missed you so much. I'm so sorry for the insult. And Krishna replied, dude, still don't get it? I told you I would show you everything I am. And I am you. We are one. You're gonna have to forgive that and accept it. I came back just because you just didn't get it. You carried that guilt around, it's useless. So the big lesson of Krishna here is Krishna was not focused on showing how he was great, but how his disciple was great. And then he found a way for a disciple to have to work through it. So it's an intense path of personal growth. Knowing yourself as God is rare and long. And that is the easy part. The hard part is to release yourself of that self-importance that the ego will take of your divine feelings, and that prevents you from expanding into everything. Because God is everything. And the avatar does not need to protect that feeling for himself. He will simply be there amongst everything else and him that is divine, but without that duality. Everything, which includes him and the others. I mean, with no, it's a single thought. It's not two in the ego, me and the other. It's just full. Pride is one of the things that sustain self-importance. Ignorance is the poison itself. Okay? Pride is an outside manifestation of that ignorance. Okay? Yeah, good question. Thank you. So all the comments we got were good because they are constructive and positive. That your ego will use. It's important to start with ourselves. Do our own practice to know ourselves in a divine way. It is good. And when you have it, enjoy it and embrace it. Do not stop there. It's not about how I feel myself. It's eventually, as an avatar, the accomplishment of absolutely everything. The divine sense and nature on all things, and the oneness. That although as an identity, I experience my oneness from here, from me, and everything else is I'm there, but it's there, you know. There's still my locality, so I'm still human and incarnate. But the divinity experience is not limited to what I've discovered. And then see how the ego wants to localize it back. And then you'll go back into oneness and everything is divine and wonderful. We seek adoration. The more we evolve, the more we hope to be praised. I shared a dialogue I had with Rishidva on my Facebook page, on my wall. And it was expressing something about we're all consciousness of one, and in ways to operate the one stream of consciousness, he calls the Buddha field. And he explained the various levels after Buddhahood. Okay, so various stages. And he says the world ordered one still has duality, but then, and I reacted to that. That means I had to go inside and see if I react very mildly, but I had it, to Rishidva saying, the world honored one still has duality that will be released in Tathagata level. I felt, no, he doesn't have duality. Yeah, well, I just reacted. It was not the thought. It was an emotional, I don't want that to be true. And the truth is, yes. It was for me to be humble and admit there's a part of my ego that enjoys when another being is saying how divine I am. I get something out of it. And that means I did not believe that person, whoever that be, is as divine as me. Like to use the state of world honored one in any fashion where I gain a personal benefit instead of just admitting it. Oh yeah, people get something from my radiance. That's cool. But I got flattered. Ah, thank you for thinking I'm so God. That was duality. So I was still thinking the other two is God, but there's something where it was I just gained importance and bam, that was one more little dot of separation. So it's this subtle humility that we have to keep working on at the higher levels of self-realization. If at any point we start to be so proud and so, I'm done with that, I'm accomplished, I mean, I don't even care about this. These guys are so full of shit, they just don't get it. It just means, I mean, there's Brahmans that have all of this super intense realization, die, reincarnate, and the soul is like, what the fuck? I'm accomplished. Why the fuck am I still here? Well, probably because you're not accomplished. Being aware of all that is divine and still being an asshole about it doesn't make you accomplished. There's still more. In Zen Buddhism, we say, I've got Zen training as part of my Pure Land training. We had an intense Zen aspect. If you consider the entire path of your evolution as a 1 mile or 1 kilometer, the last centimeter, the last inch is the hardest and the most subtle. Self-importance. It becomes paradoxical. It seems like a contradiction, but it's a paradox. Where you love yourself so much because that's a cool thing, but it never made you important. And your ego says, all the love I have for myself, it must mean I'm important. So the paradox of full self-love and non-importance, it pulls you inside. Because self-love at this point is not based on self-love, but simply love of everything without the separation. So of course, you would fully love yourself, but only as a result of being part of everything and loving everything. Before you can have these pure feelings, you have to start by just loving yourself as only yourself, the love that has nothing to do with the others, because there's too many conflicts and heartbreaks. So you have to love yourself and eventually discover the love of everyone else. No, we try to be compassionate with our best. There's still duality. And then the love of everyone and everything, and it's all inclusive. And your ego will tense. What about my importance? Boom, there's me and there's the others. It's like that. I hope that was useful philosophy on the quest for the avatar. Pretending to be avatar before you reach the stage of being of an avatar. You have the right to. It's not a problem. I accept that people proclaim to be avatar because this is what nature does. It's acceptable. It's cool. Your self-realization will happen if you have refined yourself beyond the state of Buddha. If you've gone even just one step further than Buddha, you don't have to come back and you can consider yourself accomplished. If your desire of accomplishment, your personal quest, because you have one if you want, if your proper personal desire is to accomplish by completely accomplishing in your physical mass the divine essence of all things, then you can't consider yourself accomplished personally after Buddhahood. You need to go further into the avatar. And the avatar is absolute. And you will be fully virtuous. While you are incarnate, you are still subject to stimuli and being affected by others and having little waves of emotions and negative thinking. You would not even see it as negative, but you would see it as non-constructive. That's how I would call the thinking I had yesterday evening. Non-constructive. It's inspiring. I hope it inspires you. The city of Avatar is not an arrogant proclamation, I will do it. It's a humble quest. How can we do it? How does it work? I'll just rest in this philosophy and allow it to rise as my lessons are shown to me. The paradox in the quest to be useful and feel great about it, but as you feel great, you'll develop a feeling of importance that will separate that greatness from the other's greatness. And then you say, oh, I made it personal. That's my pride. This is what I have to mourn to find peace again. Mourn my pride. And then go back to feeling great, and the others are great too. And then it made you important for a moment again. And it rolls until you learn to master your passions as an ego. And this is good. It's part of the process. Cool. I'm very happy for this little class. I will see you Monday in 2 days, same time, 11 EST. Namaste.